Hey, welcome to Dirt Girls Podcast. I'm your host Justin. So, sorry I didn't post anything on Saturday. Yeah, it's kind of funny, man. I told people, I'm gonna be posting less content, and I just like almost every day this week I posted like what 2 videos a day. Like holy shit. But yeah, I'm gonna eventually stop posting. I'm gonna start posting less content. So sorry I didn't post anything today. From now on Saturdays, I'm going to post my retro anime theater uh, podcasts where I react to old animes, old OVAs and shit. Which for next episode, I'm thinking of reacting to some episodes of Serial Experimental. What's it called? Serial Experimental Lane, which is supposed to be like this classic cyberpunk anime from like 1999 or something, which everybody knows the theme song to that. So yeah, I'm gonna react to like a couple episodes. I was at like a fucking not flea market, thrift store, and I go there to find like out of print DVDs and shit. Cause there's some movies that are like just that are just out of print, and I found like the first volume there that ADV or whoever put out. So I'm like, oh, I'll buy that just to see if it's good, and I'll, if it's good, I'll go pick up the series, which I think Funimation or whoever put it out, which I never did. Yeah. So yeah, but yeah, so we'll see. Okay. Yeah. So today we're reviewing a Hong Kong movie called The Mission, which is a 1999 crime drama action film directed by Johnny To. I don't know how to pronounce this guy's name. I actually found out about this movie from this Norwegian film critic guy called Not Hollywood or Not My Hollywood. It's either Not Hollywood or Not My Hollywood, where this guy reviews like a lot of Asian films, like basically like everything that's not Hollywood, and he reviewed a lot of cool South Korean, Japanese, and even Hong Kong movies. So he talked about. I saw a bunch of reviews of his today, and he talked about Johnny 2 movies and like the how like the Exile, which is like a 2006 film, is like one of the best action films ever. And I couldn't find that film online, but I could find The Mission 1999, which apparently Exiled is kind of like a sort of remake of this movie, right? So I watched this movie, and it's about Boss Lung, played by Ko Hong, who you'll know as the actor from Lethal Weapon 4. He was like the dad of the refugees that lived with there's Briggs and who's the other guy? Oh my god. Lethal Weapon. Fuck. Who was the other guy? Oh, not Donald Glover, is it? No. I get the stupid TV. I put in Lethal Weapon and I get the stupid TV show. What fucking bullshit. Roger Murtaugh. Okay. Played by who? Oh my god. They're showing me the act. Danny Glover. Okay. Yeah, Danny Glover. Yeah, so he was living at Danny Glover's house. Yeah, that guy plays like a triad boss in this film, who almost gets assassinated at a restaurant, and after that, he survives the assassination thanks to one of his bodyguards sacrificing himself so he can get away, while the other one, the fat one, just cowardly runs off, which that guy was gonna. You think, oh, that guy's gonna get killed later on, but he just gets beaten up and let go. Where there's like a scene later on in the film where like the the boss sees him like working as a janitor at a mall and gives him money, and the guy sees like a bunch of people about to kill the boss at the mall after this, like he just gave him money, he almost he redeems himself, tries to sacrifice himself for the boss, but they don't show him dying. Which the other cast members for this film are Jackie Liu as Shen, who's not Japanese in the movie, by the way. He's not supposed to be Japanese. I don't know why they gave him the name Shen. You have Lam Suet as James, who you'll know from like other movies, he was in Kung Fu Hustle. I think he was in Kung Pao as the guy who carries the boombox. I think that was him. I could be wrong. And he was in like another Johnny 2 movie called PTU. You got Simon Yam as Frank, Roy Chung as Mike, Francis Nig as Roy, and Anthony Wong as Curtis. So the movie is about after the botched assassination, they hide the brother of the boss Young, Frank, goes out and hires 5 bodyguards, which you have Anthony Wong as Curtis, called Curtis the Ice, who is a hairstylist / like hitman. You got Roy and Shen, who are like triad guys who run a bar. You got Mike, who runs like a hostess club kind of thing. He's basically a pimp. And you got James, who's you see him play DDR in the beginning of the film, right? And I'm like, what the fuck? What does this have to do with the movie? And it's just like the movie after the assassination attempt, the movie starts off with like a montage of the different bodyguard characters, and James is friends with Roy. So like the whole movie is our characters bonding with each other, trying to protect Boss Young and his hot young wife called I forget her name, but it's like she's just Miss Young, which while they're trying to protect him, there's a couple scenes where they'll get in shootouts with the assassins. Like the first shootout was in an alleyway where they're under sniper fire, which that was really cool. But it's like they felt like very frustrated because the boss gets hit like twice out of nowhere, and it turns out the rifle bullets were stopped by the fucking bulletproof vest. Which I've talked to cops and shit before about bulletproof vests, and they're like, yeah, bulletproof vests are only fucking good against small arms. Anything bigger than a pistol, like they'll go right through bulletproof vests. So it's like that kind of, like a rifle, because he gets shot by a rifle. It's like fucking the JFK assassination, where he gets shot in the front and in the back, and somehow the rifle bullets don't go through the fucking vest, man. That was fucking bullshit, right? And then you have another assassination attempt at the mall, like I said, and there's a shootout, which you think is gonna be the finale of the film, at a factory where our characters are shooting out with these guys through windows. It turns out not to be the finale of the film. The finale of the film is our characters, after finding out who was the one who set up the hit against Boss Young, which was kind of tragic, really, because it's like, wow, that character, you didn't really expect him, because he was the fucking nerve of this fat fuck. It turned out to be the fat fuck who owned the restaurant that was that Boss Young was almost got assassinated at. And there's a scene halfway through the movie where they have a meeting, right? And after the meeting, the fat fuck asks him for money so he can go to fucking Macau to gamble, and the guy gives him $20 million. It's wow, man, you're trying to kill this guy, your boss, like your friend slash boss, and you ask him for 20 million bucks. It's like, what a piece of shit, right? And like the movie ends with our Ice's character Curtis, Anthony Wong's character Curtis the Ice, um, getting pulled aside by Frank after the job is done. Everybody's gonna get paid. Where Frank tells Curtis, "Hey, one of the guys," which they tell him. I'm not gonna spoil which character did it, but like one of the guys had an affair with Mr. Young's wife, and we want you to go kill him, right? And one of his buddies snitches him out. He goes to one of his buddies, "Hey, give me a gun, right? I gotta go take care of business, right?" And he snitches out the other guys, "Hey, like he's going to kill this one guy, right?" So they have a meeting at a restaurant that Curtis owns, right? And the guy tells him, "Hey, man, I gave him a black gun," and well, the subtitles for this movie was a little fucking weird, but I think it was implied he gave him a black gun filled with blanks, right? And then when they go to the restaurant, right? They go to the restaurant, and everybody pulls their guns out, and then they see like, oh, Curtis doesn't have a black gun; he has like a silver gun. It's like, oh shit, he switched out the gun with the blanks for like a gun with real bullets. So yeah, you have this fucking like very tense scene at the end where our characters who throughout the movie we're getting getting to know each other, becoming friends. One of the guys decides to start to work with another guy, and like you just feel like all these guys all feel like they're brothers now after working together to defend this boss. Which there was some really cool tactical fucking shootouts where you had one guy people holding positions during the shootouts, having suppressing fire. So they worked really well as a team, right? So it's like, wow, for that, for them to have this have this tragic end, tragic breakup in the end of the film where they have to kill, where the one guy has to kill one of the other guys, and they're all you have this Mexican Mexican standoff at the end of the film, which I'm not gonna spoil what happens at the end of this film, but it's like, wow, it was really it was a really tense scene, right? Which I thought was cool. The thing about this movie is kind of hard to review because the movie. Well, I will say one problem I had with the movie, right? I thought the music for the fucking movie kind of sucked, and there was this one song. I think it was almost like a theme song that kept playing throughout the movie, which I thought was lame, right? But other than that, I really liked the movie. There's not a lot of dialogue. The movie just bleeds trying to be stylish and cool with these cool characters. It's almost it's almost like when when Tarantino first showed up and he put out Reservoir Dogs, and you had a bunch of other movie makers making movies that were just real cool, cool characters with cool guns, having shootouts and shit, the fucking early Guy Ritchie films, Boondock Saints, Thomas Jane and Thursday, shit like that, where you have these rip-offs of Tarantino films. This felt kind of like that, but it had its own cool, it had this originality to it that felt really cool. There's this running gag where the Roy character will give people cigarettes, and the cigarettes will be tampered with, where they'll light it and it'll be fireworks goes off. It'll just look like fireworks, and you felt you got know these characters. So like the movie is whether or not you like this film is totally dependent on whether or not you like these characters. So because of that, and I do think the shootouts were cool. But it's not like super like stylistic like you with like the fuck what's sorry John Woo film. So I thought this was as good as a John Woo film. But because I could see people getting turned off by like the lack of dialogue and the shitty music, I'm gonna have to give this film like 6.5 out of 10. But I really enjoyed it, and I thought the acting with the characters were great. Sorry, my dog's barking, so I gotta go. But like, yeah, I think if you're a fan of Hong Kong action films and triad films, this movie is for you. And the movie's short. It's like 90. It's like 88 minutes, man. It's like less than 90 minutes, and it's on YouTube for free. So I feel like check it out, guys, if you're into that. All right.